Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said President Biden's foreign policy fails to understand the harsh reality of good versus evil, warning, in an interview with Fox News, that without considering the ramifications of his administration's actions around the globe, America will be diminished. Fox News spoke with the former Secretary of State before he and former Trump National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien received the Richard Nixon Foundation's 2021 Architect of Peace Award for their work in developing and implementing the 2020 Abraham Accords and the 2020 Serbia-Kosovo Economic Normalization Agreements. They were also honored for their oversight of the repatriation of more than 50 American hostages detained abroad. Pompeo reflected on a number of foreign policy actions taken under Biden's leadership, including the full withdrawal of U.S. military assets from Afghanistan, which led to the Taliban takeover of the country, and the negotiations for a potential re-entry into the JCPOA-Iran nuclear deal. At its very core, what the Biden administration fails to understand is there is a harsh reality out there, that there is evil and there is good, Pompeo said. And if you withdraw from Afghanistan without considering the ramifications and dealing with them and making sure the conditions are right, America will be diminished. If you don't make clear that you're going to be an unbreakable ally of the State of Israel, then the Iranians will provide rockets to Hamas in the Gaza Strip and they will fire them into the State of Israel, he continued. And if you don't understand that American energy is an incredibly powerful national security tool, and instead, you shut it down and give the Russians access to European markets, and beg the Middle East to build more production capacity, you put America at risk. Those are just indisputable facts. That is the reality of the world that we live in, and the Trump administration was serious about using American power as a force for good in the world against the backdrop of reality. To set an arbitrary, unconditional deadline, Pompeo explained, referring to Biden's public commitment to withdraw all assets by August 31. And once that's done, once you set the date certain, then the bad guys know that they can push you, and that's what they did. The Trump administration initially set conditions with the Taliban to withdraw U.S. troops from Afghanistan in May 2021, a date Biden extended, but under the conditions that no U.S. military assets or service members were harmed. The arrangement was only as good as your willingness to enforce it, and to watch them, and to call them on it, and to demand, and when they don't comply, to impose real costs on them, Pompeo said. The world is looking for American leadership, he continued. They are looking for a president who is prepared to take real action to defend the things they articulated as important. Citing actions under former President Trump, Pompeo said we were prepared to use, very judiciously, American military power and American economic power to deliver. I pray that they restore American credibility, Pompeo said of the Biden administration. I think they have an opportunity to do that. Pompeo was honored at the Nixon Foundation for his work during the Trump administration. Pompeo was a key player in brokering the Abraham Accords, which the Trump administration called a historic peace agreement between Israel and the United Arab Emirates that normalized relations and created bilateral agreements regarding investment, tourism, direct flights, security, telecommunications, technology, energy, health care, culture, the environment, the establishment of reciprocal embassies, and other areas of mutual benefit. As for his future plans, there has been speculation of potential White House ambitions. On that topic, Pompeo told Fox News he has been at the fight for our republic, to protect liberty and freedom here in the United States for an awful long time. There is no reason to think that I will do anything but stay in that effort, to promote conservative ideas for the next 20 or 30 years, what role that will be in? Only the Lord knows, Pompeo said.